The thing about me is I believe that I can have it all, and sometimes that overextends me. There is your vision and your dream, and guess what? You get to pursue that. You are the creator of your reality 100%. Here's the thing, like, shit's gonna happen. You're gonna hire someone, they're gonna be the wrong fit, they're gonna mess up. You could probably do it faster. Like, all of that is true. So if you have made this decision to not grow a team, or if you have held back on getting support out of fear, that's what I want you to challenge. Just be real with yourself. Are you playing small, saying that's not your vision, or is that really actually what you want? Embodied CEOs don't chase trends. They pave the way. They lead from within, moved by purpose, unshaken by noise. When you are the source, you do not need permission. Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you're having a great week. I am batch recording this week. I feel like I am trying to live life and have the incredible experiences of travel and taking my kids places and like what I built my business for, while packing in so much in the weeks that I'm here. So I'm traveling a lot for the summer, and so I'm like got this condensed week where I get to record so many podcasts. The thing about me is I believe that I can have it all. And sometimes that overextends me. In a time where I'm trying to not rush around and not hurry and not overpack myself. But this week, it's just this week, because I'm like got 1 week and then gone for 2, almost home for like 3 days, gone again. Anyways, that's my week. But I have so many podcast ideas because I did a solo trip a bit ago, and I am at the highest level of creativity when I travel on my own. So today I wanted to talk about 2 different things that are more just me riffing on my own business and experience, and some things for you to think about and lessons. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is team and building a team. Because I feel like I come across a lot of entrepreneurs who say that they don't want to build a team, or have a lot of fear around building a team, or keep their team really small and feel there is a large headache around building a team. And I think that if you want to build a business, you can build it however you want. Like, if your vision is for it to stay a certain size and to be super lean and to not really have a team, or maybe like a few contractors, there's no right or wrong, right? Like, let me preface with that. There is no right or wrong. There is your vision and your dream. And guess what? You get to pursue that. You are the creator of your reality 100%. Okay. However, I feel like a lot of the conversation around team, especially in businesses our size of like 6 figures to 7 figures, to even 8 figures, not corporate, right? A lot of the conversation is usually negative. How it is a headache, how it's challenging, how it's hard to hire, how it's hard to train, how nobody does a good job, the pressure of payroll, all these things. And I'm not saying it's a breeze building a team at all. It is the most challenging part of my business. However, I wouldn't do it if there wasn't massive upside. And this week I had a moment yesterday where I was on like 3 hours straight of calls. I'm packing in this week, like teaching workshops and calls, because I'm home for a week. And so I had to pack it all in. And so it's one of those weeks where it's like you work, but you don't get any work done because you're spending it all, fulfilling calls and meetings and just, recording content. That's my week this week. It feels like I haven't even written a to-do list since Monday, because my to-do list is my calendar and just like the obligations on my calendar. So anyways, I had this moment yesterday where I got off 3 hours of calls, and I opened up my Slack, and we have a Slack channel for every client. That's the way that we work, because it brings the team together in one, of like the design team, the copy team, the onboarding manager, all in one. And I'm in those channels. I don't have to go in them, but I'm in them, and it lets me have like a bird's eye view. Especially as we update process and I train new team members, it just lets me catch things. So I like being in them. And we have quite a lot of clients. We have our done for you side, and then we've got close to 100 in our kind of hybrid done for you, but program. So we have a lot of clients, right? We have a lot going on and we move really fast and we execute, like our whole team is implementation, right? So there's always something happening. And I had this moment, I opened my Slack and all these channels had messages in it. And I didn't feel urgency. I started looking through them and I was like, this is so cool, because as I was on these calls, the amount of work that got done and like execution that got done. I mean, I went in these channels, I was like, we launched this client's ads, we finished this client's funnel, we got this strategy approved, like a huge list of things that had been done in the 3 hours that I was able to be on my mastermind call. I taught a workshop for our clients. I did a bonus strategy call, and like those were the calls I was on, right? I was delivering. And in one of those calls, someone said to me, she said, thank you so much for all the work that you are doing to support entrepreneurs and like all that you do to make an impact. And it was really a nice compliment, but I was like, wow, I really do get to pour a lot of my time into doing what only I can do. Creating the content that I create, creating the impact, the movement, the support. Like when I do a training, right? Like creating a workshop space that creates clarity for other entrepreneurs so that they can build the business and life of their dreams. And that would not be possible without my team. And I'm not just saying that to acknowledge my team. I want to acknowledge my team, but I just had this moment yesterday where I was like, I think that out of fear and the way that people reference having a team, so many entrepreneurs are actually missing out on the upside of it. There is such an upside. I come into my office, I get to collaborate with these extremely talented team members of mine who are in the trenches delivering for our clients so that I have a business where I can have my highest impact. It's not just so that I can have a business that runs without me. That is an added benefit. Like I can go on a trip next week with my kids and I'll check in and I'm around, but I don't have to work. I don't have to show up. Like my entire business can run without me. That is a benefit, right? That is a goal. But more than that, I don't know. It just reframed to like, I'm able to have such a bigger impact because of the system and the team that I have. And so I say this because I just feel there's so much negative around building a team and around the pressure of having to be responsible to pay somebody else's salary and like keep up the money and do all that. And like, I'm not diminishing the fact that it is challenging. Majority of my struggles in my business come from people management because everybody's got their stuff, right? And it is challenging, but the upside of it way outweighs the challenge. And I just wanted to bring that here to have that conversation, because if you have shut off that vision or you have kept that vision small because of fear, I just want to be that voice that challenges you. And there's no right or wrong. Like maybe that is still the right decision for you. You don't have to have a massive team. There's a lot of people that I talk to who are like very clear, I do not want a big team. Like that is not my dream. And that's fine. But if you've decided that that wasn't your dream or your vision, or you aren't building a team or you aren't investing in support out of fear, I want to be the voice that says it's not easy. Like you're going to learn a lot. And it is true that there is the pressure, right? When something happens with a client, when something happens at the end of the day, it does fall back on me. It falls back on me to make sure that we are okay. But that is what I signed up for. And I'm grateful for it. And that's going to bring me to the next thing I talk about. But I just want to be that voice that says the upside of having an incredible team supporting you far outweighs the pressure and the challenges that you face because of that, in my opinion. And it is 100% possible to build a machine where you have a team fully running the day-to-day of your business and allowing you to be in a space where you can have your greatest impact. And that's what I realized yesterday as I was like, wow, I got to spend 3 hours doing what only I could do, right? My mastermind call where I'm coaching the women in the mastermind, my workshop that I held for our clients around their messaging, and I was doing coaching on that call, the one-on-one strategy call, that I helped someone tremendously with clarity on their business. Like, those are the things that I should be doing. Now, I wouldn't be able to do those things if I didn't have a team running the entire day-to-day of our business, writing our clients' copy, launching their ads, coordinating everything, organizing the strategy. And so the amount of production that we have in a day as a team is incredible. And that's where I went in Slack yesterday and I was like, this is amazing. Like, it is amazing how much gets done in a day with a cohesive, talented, hardworking team. And that is possible to have in your business. And yes, there will be challenges, but those challenges grow you. My team challenges me, right, to be a better leader all the time. I mean, I would not be where I am today without having to face or getting to face the challenges that come with a team, right? Learning how to be a better leader, learning how to communicate to different communication styles. Like, for me, I've had to learn a ton around that, because I am somebody who I don't communicate a lot with emotions. Like, I'm black and white, right? Logical. And I've had to learn how to communicate with different team members and to be a better leader, to get people excited to be, working at Embodied Marketing and working together and to feel appreciated and all these things. And the more that I work on that, and the more that I, set an intention to pour into that, the more I feel fulfilled. Because also, not only, do I get to have an impact for people who consume my content and clients, but I get to have an impact on my team, and they have an impact on me, and it's a very rewarding experience. So I wanted to be that voice, because I feel like I hear very often people who are scared of hiring a team because they've heard horror stories. And here's the thing, like, shit's gonna happen. You're gonna hire someone, they're gonna be the wrong fit, they're gonna mess up. You could probably do it faster. Like, all of that is true. Again, the upside of it far outweighs all of that. So if you have made this decision to not grow a team, or if you have held back on getting support out of fear, that's what I want you to challenge. Because as an entrepreneur and as a CEO, those are the places that you do need to challenge. Where are you letting fear run the show? Because that's not actually in alignment with your dream. We tell ourselves these things as an entrepreneur, like, oh, I don't want that because it's going to be like this, or I can't have that, or I can't grow to that, or I'll never be able to not do this in my business. Absolute statements are very dangerous because you believe those as facts, and they're not facts. And so my favorite thing to do when people say absolute statements to me is like, really though? Like, can I challenge it? Because is there a world, is there a timeline, is there a path where that is not actually the reality? So I want to be that voice, and I want you to really think about and sit with, where do I want my business to be in the next year, in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years? Am I playing small with that vision? And again, I'm not saying that everyone has to have this massive vision for an 8-figure company. There is nothing wrong with that not being your vision. Nothing wrong with it. Just be real with yourself. Are you playing small, saying that's not your vision, or is that really actually what you want? And everything's a trade-off, right? When I say that I want to grow an 8-figure company, I am growing to an 8-figure company. I know that the trade-off to that is the challenges that comes with growing the team and the infrastructure to get us there. But I am willing to take those sacrifices, to face those challenges, and to sit in that, because to me, the upside and the benefit of the impact, not just the revenue of an 8-figure company, that's just kind of like the scorecard. The impact of an 8-figure company means we have massive impact in terms of media and content and people I'm able to reach and support, clients, businesses that we get to run marketing for. Like, I am choosing the challenges that come with running a large team, large business infrastructure to be able to have that outcome. I could absolutely say I'm too scared of having a 6-figure a month payroll. I already have that. It'll be probably double that at 8 figures. I could say I'm too scared for that. What if this? What if something goes wrong, 1 month, and that's how much cash I have? Like, it is a different game. But I really try to not let fear run the show and to push up against anywhere I'm uncomfortable, anywhere I'm scared, which then kind of brings my next point. So I want to be that. I want to be that voice. I want to challenge you. I want you to think about like anywhere in your business that you are operating from an absolute or out of fear or out of discomfort, out of the new, but also be that voice of like, you absolutely can grow a business that 100% runs without you because you have an incredible team supporting you and allowing you to be in the space where you can have your greatest impact and the freedom of a business that runs without you, because you need that, not just because you don't need that, but you can have that. You can choose to have that. Not just because you want that life, but also because if you do want to grow your business to certain levels, I don't think you can get past certain levels being in the day-to-day. You just can't. Like your brain and your capacity, you eventually hit burnout. And your creativity and your vision and everything, it's just clouded with like the tasks that you have to get done. And in that case, a lot of times what I see is entrepreneurs created a job for themselves. Again, you can do whatever you want. It's your business, it's your life. It doesn't have to be that way if you don't want it to be that way. But you're going to have to make the decision to say, I'm going to build a team. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to bet on someone. I'm going to invest this money because my time and my future and my vision is more valuable to me than the fear and the uncertainty of that. So this kind of brings me to the next point, right? Because how do you operate from a place of trust? How do you operate from a place of knowing that you will always be okay when something does happen? Because it will happen, right? And how do you operate from that place of being willing to take the risks, being willing to go up against the fear and take the action anyways? And I think that I'm really fortunate in the sense that I was raised with this mindset of like, you'll always figure it out. And I do trust myself in business, I will say, in this way. I think I struggle sometimes in my personal life where I'm like, what the heck? I can go take all the risks in business and I know I'll always be okay. But then sometimes in my personal life, I don't always do that. Anyways, side note. But I was raised like, you want it, you'll make it happen. And you'll always be okay. You'll always figure it out. You have the skills and the ability to figure it out. And I'm really grateful for that. It's a skill that you can learn though, and you build that confidence within yourself as you do it. But I will say that over the last probably 3 to 5 years, I have had to really practice and deepen my ability to trust and not allow any resistance or something not going how I wanted to put me in a place of force and white knuckling it. And I'm actually still working on this. I think I always will be working on this. But the more that I lean into this and the more that I really learn this, teach my system this is what I'm really doing, the more my business can grow. And so I want to share a second story that I thought was really cool and may help you. So the other day I woke up, sometimes I wake up to like a bomb being dropped, like something that happened that I wasn't expecting. It could be someone's quitting. It could be somebody's asking for a huge refund and it's not warranted, business situations. So I woke up the other day to kind of a surprise $19,000 charge, basically, that I wasn't planning on having to spend. I'm not going to get into the details of it. It doesn't really matter, but woke up to $19,000, which is fine, right? I do have cash and I can I'm okay. I can cover those things, but it's not necessarily a nice thing like in 1 week to have $19,000 that you weren't planning on spending on the same week of payroll and just cash flow, right? And so I woke up to that text message and I was like, okay, most of the time I can get these things now. And I'm just like, all right, we'll figure it out. And so that is what I did. But I was really intentional in that moment, right? Because it's really easy to go into a state where you're like, I guess it would be fear, right? Because even if I'm fine, even if I have the cash, which I do, it's still like you can still start running the what if scenarios. What if this? What if we don't make all these sales? What if da-da-da? What if the payroll expense goes? What if this? Like, it's very easy. The brain is very good at that. That's its job. It's trying to protect you. It's trying to think about all the ways that everything could possibly go even more wrong, right? And then make you scared. And therefore, then you don't take risks. So I noticed that I could go that route of like, what if this, and also be mad at the expense, be annoyed, be short, go into this like scarcity, fear energy. Or I was like, or you have the choice to be like, okay, I trust that this is happening for a reason. And I trust that everything will be totally fine. Like, not just logically choose that, but actually put myself in that state of being, right? When you're in an energetic state of being, I'm going to go woo on you for a second. Hopefully you can feel this. There is a different feeling in your body when you are in fear or you are in abundance, right? Like different actual frequency. You can feel the difference in your body. So not just logically decide like, oh, it's fine, everything's going to work out, right? I could tell myself that and force myself to feel that. But I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to go into a state of abundance, of like so much gratitude. I'm so grateful for my team. I'm so grateful for the new clients that we're bringing on. I'm so grateful that I'm always taken care of and that everything always works out how it's supposed to. And like I went deep, I went into meditation and just like went into that trust and went into that gratitude. And then I went about my day. And the same day, we did $18,000 in new sales, which we do new sales every single week. But I just was like, that was a high day for us in a single day, $18,000 of new sales on top of our regular billing. And I just thought it was so cool because I was like, woke up to a surprise $19,000 expense, did $18,000 in new sales. Like, all right, universe, like I got the message. And as I was doing that, I realized, so quick side story. I have a friend here in Austin. I'm going to bring him on the podcast. He's a founder of a very large, successful company. And he has a team of 7 people. It's a physical product company. So a lot of his expenses in the development of the product. So he's got a small team, small for the size of his company, and very successful. Very, very successful company. And I was talking to him the other day and he told me he never goes on a computer. He said, if I'm on a computer, there's something wrong. And I was like, the fact that you have that large of a company, you're that successful, you don't go on a computer, like that's amazing. And I said, so what do you do? What do you do during the day? And he said, I make myself available to my team. Like they work out of this house basically in Austin. I make myself available to the team. And he's like, I have this room. He called it something. I have this room. It has a bed, it has a couch. It's like this chill room. And I go and I sit in there. And people come to me and they ask me questions and they answer the questions. And the way that he carries himself is a very calm, grounded, energetic frequency. Like when you're in his presence, you're like, you feel good. He feels calm. He feels grounded. He feels regulating. And he's got this massive company, right? And so that happened the other day and I was thinking about him and I was like, you know what? I think the more I go about this, the more I realize like one of the main jobs of the CEO is to maintain their energy and the frequency that they are vibrating at. I know that's woo, okay? But like maintaining that energy because that is the energy of the company. And this friend of mine, I'm like, that is what he does. He's not saying that he's doing that, but he is maintaining this grounded, centered, inspired, calm energy so that no matter what happens, which I'm sure, like with the size company that he has and e-commerce and fulfillment and all that there's big challenges that come up, right? He's not rocked by them and he stays calm. And when you do that as a leader, your team feels like they're okay, right? Like, have you ever been in a situation where somebody who's in charge gets stressed out and is like panicking? Then you panic, right? If you were on like, for example, an airplane and the pilot and the flight attendant started panicking, you would panic. If they stayed calm, even if something was happening, you're going to stay calm. So people look to the leader on how they should be responding, how they should be feeling. That is the job of a CEO. And so I realized the other day, I mean, I know this, but I just like deeper level of realization that I was like, oh, one of my core responsibilities is to maintain my energy so that when we are hit with surprise expense, somebody quits, whatever happens, right? Because these things happen some weeks more than others, but you can expect them to happen. And the larger the company, the more this is going to happen. My job is to maintain my energy so I stay in the state of being centered, inspired, grateful. I cannot express that enough. Like, you can move through so many challenges if you can find the state of gratitude, and you can always find it. Like, in the hardest of the hard seasons, I can find gratitude. And not logically just find gratitude, but how do I feel the gratitude? How do I like drop into that in my body, in my heart, and feel that state of gratitude? Because that directly impacts the entire company. And, again, it's woo, but there is something to, like, you vibrate at a certain frequency, you're going to attract certain things. And I truly believe that day that I got myself, okay, I'm going to vibrate at this higher frequency, and then we made all those sales. And I didn't even ask for that. I didn't even say, like, universe, I want to make a bunch of sales. I just kept myself in that state. So that's my second point to this is, no matter what, if you grow a team or not, like, as a business owner, I think that if you would have told me this years ago, it would have helped me. I think if you would have told me this 10 years ago, I wouldn't have known what you were talking about, and I wouldn't have believed you. I'd have been like, that sounds nice, but how? And it's been a journey, right, of me learning this. But this is something that I wish somebody told me. I wish somebody told me years ago, which it's, again, happens exactly how it's supposed to. But I'm saying it now because maybe it's the message you need. In business, it is not just about logically solving everything with your brain. It's not about white knuckling and pushing through and making everything happen and just like, pushing through the hard times. There is an element to it that goes beyond the brain. And that is actually like the embodied part. That is how you choose to show up, the energy you choose to show up with as a leader. And I for sure have done this poorly, right? Where I'm a human, I get stressed and then I get panicked and then I deflect that onto my team. I put that onto my team. And I'm not saying don't hide the reality. People don't like it when you're not transparent. Like, if you're like, we're fine, guys, like, and you're not really fine, people know that. But if you can actually stay grounded and actually go, okay, here's the situation, blah, 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 and like you stay centered, your team's going to feel that. And they're going to feel safer. And they're going to feel more grounded. Your clients are going to feel that. Your audience is going to feel that. How do you do that? There's not a manual, but you have to have the capacity for it. You have to have the intention and the awareness and the capacity. And you can't do this if you are running in a chaotic, overpacked, stressful day-to-day. And also if you're lacking awareness. Like, if your environment is dictating your state of being, that needs to flip. You get to dictate your state of being regardless of the environment, meaning regardless of the people around you, the situations that happen, the traffic, like all these things. You choose to let those impact you. That's a choice. And when you have the awareness and then you have the power over that, it changes everything. And the more I go on this journey, the more that I realize, the more intentional I am with this and holding myself accountable, knowing that that's one of my number one jobs as a CEO. And also that the more I can do this, the more capacity I can carry, the more my business will grow. The more it grows, and the more it grows easily. Even this week when I'm saying my schedule is packed, I haven't skipped a meditation. I unplug with my kids. We've been going for a walk every night without my phone. Like, I do keep myself centered. My schedule's packed, but I'm not stressed. I'm not in chaos. I'm not like in that frantic energy. And so therefore I can handle a higher capacity of things, which is how you scale your business. Like, you have to become the person who can hold that level. So those are the two things that I wanted to help you with that have come to me this week. Hopefully you get some value out of it. Question and think about, ask yourself some questions around how you're showing up, how you can get in that state of being where the problem's already solved. That's what I did the other day, is I was like, okay, I can face this problem. I'm just going to get myself in the state of being that's already handled. It's already handled. I don't even need to know the steps of how we're going to handle it because I trust that we will. But my state of being is going to be that it's already handled. And then it was. So, all right, everybody, I will talk to you next time.